Hi, welcome to Delicious and Light. I'm Dina D'Ambrosi from Apex Nova, and today we're going to be making a great side for whether you're having company or whether you're going over a friend's house and you're bringing something over. This is a side dish that you want to make a day in advance or at least a couple hours in advance because it's going to refrigerate for a while. So the first thing we start with is 6 pieces of, I use center cut bacon because it's low fat, but you can also use turkey bacon. We're going to have a half a cup of green or red bell peppers, half a cup of red onion, a can of black beans, quarter cup of fresh cilantro, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, quarter cup canola oil, 3 cups of corn, and then for flavoring we're going to use salt, pepper, and a little bit of Louisiana hot sauce, and I'm going to put a jalapeno pepper in there today. In the recipe that you go to at deliciouslight.com, it's going to tell you to use a can of chili peppers, and you can do that, but today I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. We have these beautiful jalapenos growing in our garden, and I really want to use them. So this is going to add a little bit more heat than the can of chili peppers. So super easy. The first thing you want to do is just take your 6 slices of bacon, preheat your oven to 400, and just put it in there. And this is only going to take about 5 to 7 minutes. You want to get it nice and crispy. It's one of those, let me go check it and see if it's done kind of thing. So you want your bacon to be browned and crispy. And then you take your corn at deliciouslight.com. It's going to tell you to boil the corn on the stove. That's absolutely fine. Today I'm going to do it a little quicker. I'm going to put a little water in here, and I'm going to put it in the microwave for about 2 minutes, and that will cook my frozen corn. About 2 minutes should do that. In the meantime, I'm going to come over here, and we're going to start with half a cup of red onion. So this is a large red onion, and this should be about a half a cup. And because this is a salad recipe, this is Southwest corn salad, your measurements don't have to be precise. You can kind of eyeball it and say, this will make about a half a cup. But if you're unsure and you're a new cook, by all means get out your measuring cup and you can measure it perfectly that way. Also, so you know, if you're ever wondering, a half a cup is 4 ounces. So if it seems awkward to be putting chopped onion in a half a cup, you can always weigh it instead. So that's what you'd be looking at, 4 ounces. So we're just going to chop up this onion and get out a large mixing bowl because everything is going to be combined. And I'm going to chop this up pretty fine so that as people bite into it, they're not taking a big bite of red onion when they're tasting it.
Is there a trick to cutting the onions?
No, I've found over the years that everybody cooks an onion differently. So I like to put slices in it and then just chop it like this. Some people do it other ways, they slice it. So this is more like a cut. So what we're going to do is, because that's going to end up being a lot of onion, that's probably about a half a cup. Get our mixing bowl, and then I'm just going to put the rest in a Tupperware. In the meantime, let me check the corn, see if that's done. This will be great on other salads that I make later in the week. So let's see how this is doing, and if it's done, let's see how this is. We don't want it hot because we're going to eat it. It's going in a salad, so you want to keep it, yep, this is nice and tender. So you're just looking for the corn kernels to be fairly soft and easily chewable. So all I want to do is strain this corn, get the excess water out, and just to make sure that it's cooled, I'm going to rinse it in cold water. That also helps it stop cooking. So we're going to make that cool. Make sure we get as much water out as we can. We don't want to take the flavor away. And then we're just going to put that in a mixing bowl with the onion. That is that. Okay. Let me just put this in a bowl, and then I can store it later. All right. So the next thing, and there's no particular order, is we're going to chop up half a pepper. I'm sorry. We're going to chop up a red pepper. Again, this is a garden pepper, so that's how I ended up with a red pepper, but green or red pepper will do fine. You can use either one. Red peppers are a little bit sweeter, so if you really want that little bit of sweetness, by all means, get a red pepper. And I'm just going to de-seed this and rinse this real quick. Make sure all the seeds are out of the pepper. Over here. I also see the white veins that are in the pepper. When I'm rinsing it, I also just take that out as well. The best part of the pepper is the outside, the redness is nice and sweet. So this is, again, about a half a cup of red pepper. And this is a base for a lot of different salads. I mean, sky's the limit. You can make a simple pasta salad with red onion and peppers, a whole host of kinds of salads. And again, I like to chop this a little bit on the small side so that it evenly distributes the flavors when you bite into it. You don't want to taste too much of any particular ingredient. So we have about probably a little less than half a cup. So I'm going to chop just a tiny bit more of this. Oh, my dog Cody, he's going crazy tonight. I think he's been cooped up in the house too much today, and he's just ready to play. I hear him bouncing around. Hey, buddy. All right, so just take your pepper, put it in there, and then the cilantro. We're going to chop that up. So this is a quarter cup of cilantro, and as with most of my fresh herbs, I like to use, as most of my flavorings, I like to use fresh herbs. I feel like that gives the dish so much more flavor than the dried. However, you know, living in the East Coast, we do get a winter in Virginia, and there are times where we're not able to necessarily find fresh, and then so I will buy dried when I need to, but only when it's necessary, because fresh is definitely better. All right, put the cilantro in there. And we're going to take 2 tablespoons of lime juice. So the lime juice, I'm going to put my quarter cup oil in there too in advance. The lime juice, if you use a full lime, usually you'll get 2 tablespoons, and I just know that from having done it for so many years. So I'm just going to strain any pits that might come out of it as I'm juicing the lime. There's one. And there's our other half. All right, put the lime juice in. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to check my bacon real quick. See that that's doing. Bacon is not done, so we're going to let that cook a little while longer. And we'll just put our peppers on the side here. And we're going to take a can of black beans. And you just want to rinse your black beans. And you want to rinse your black beans for, you know, a good amount of time, maybe just until the water runs clear. And that's so that you're not going to get that glopiness. If you've ever opened up a can of beans, you'll notice that there's a thick, a thick liquid in it. So I just always rinse them real well and then just throw it right in there. That's that. The last thing is we're going to put a little jalapeno in there instead of the can of green chili peppers. And I'm going to grab some gloves because I certainly don't want any residue from the jalapeno pepper on my hands, and then later on, if I touch my eyes or I touch something, touch the dog, I don't want to hurt anybody, and I certainly don't want to hurt myself either. So I'm just going to put some gloves on. Which is proving to be a much more difficult task than I thought because my hand was a little bit wet from rinsing in the sink.
It's a challenge when they're wet.
Yeah, it is. If your hands are dry, these slip on right away. All right, let's get this guy on. There we go, we're set. Okay, jalapeno. I always take the top off. And I know this is fresh. I literally just took this from the garden less than an hour ago. And I scrape the seeds out with my thumb. Just make sure all the seeds are out. The seeds are what gives it a lot of heat. The rest of the pepper just gives it a little bit of heat. Funny thing about jalapenos though, we never know what we're going to get in our garden. We can take 2 jalapenos from the exact same plant. One will be hot, one will not. And I'm not sure why that is. I'm sure there's a reason for it and somebody knows all about it. So I cut these real small. Again, so that people don't take a bite into the corn salad and get way too much heat, and another person takes a bite and says, I don't feel any heat. There's a couple of seeds in there. Chop those up. I wish you could smell this because the lime juice and the cilantro and chopping this jalapeno pepper just gives out this beautiful smell. It's just delicious. All right, our jalapeno is done. Scoop that up, put that in the salad. And I'm going to add a little Louisiana sauce in here. This is more flavor than it is heat, so I know just because I have tasted it. If you're not sure and you're using a product for the first time, just put a little bit on a spoon and taste it. So this is what our salad is going to be for right now, and I'm going to check the bacon, but even if the bacon is done, which it's not, so we're going to wait another 5 minutes. When it's done though, I'm going to take it out of the oven and I'm going to let it cool completely, and then we're going to crumble it into the salad and toss. So I'm going to catch you back here in about 5 to 7 minutes. Thanks. All right, so bacon's done, and I left it on the rack for 2 reasons. One is you want to let it cool before you chop it to put it in the salad so you don't burn yourself. But I also want to show you, so this is cooled now, and it's browned. And I'm just going to put it on paper towels just to soak up any additional fat. See how it breaks off? That's perfect. You actually want that because that lets you crumble it right into the salad. So you just want to take this off the rack. Another thing I want to show you is people are real gun shy about bacon because they immediately think fat. Now, you can go with turkey bacon. That's perfectly fine. I personally like the flavor of center cut bacon. And center cut bacon is actually really lean, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So when I lift the rack, you see there's virtually no fat on there. There's just a teeny bit of oil right there, just a little bit of fat. But compared to regular bacon, it's less than half of what regular bacon is. So I just roll this in paper towels to get any additional grease off the bacon because we want the flavor, but we don't need all the fat. Or whatever little fat is in there. So I just kind of pat it down. And we've got some nice crispy pieces here. And it's cooled, so it's safe to cut. I'm just going to cut it down the middle and then chop it real fine. And that'll provide a lot of delicious flavor with the sweet corn and the heat of the jalapenos. This is just a mouthful of deliciousness. It's just got a lot of flavors in there. that really satisfy as a nice side dish to any barbecue you do, or we're doing smoked meats tomorrow, so this will complement to that. So we're just going to chop this. And again, I like to chop it fine so that you don't get any particular one flavor in each bite, but you get all the flavors put together. So I'm just going to add it to my bowl with the rest of the ingredients. Now, in the Delicious Light website, it tells you to fry the bacon in a frying pan, and you can absolutely do that. I just like to put it on a rack. It gets that additional grease off. It just means you might have to use your paper towel a little bit more if you pan fry it, but whatever you're most comfortable with. And then all we're going to do is toss this nicely. Get all the flavors in there. And as always, before you pop it in the fridge, just taste it. See if you want to add any salt or pepper. See if you want to add any additional pepper sauce to it. I have the jalapeno in here, so I think that I'm going to be good with the heat. And I did put a little bit of pepper sauce in there because it's a nice complement. And the one I did is definitely mild. I've tasted it in advance. And let's see how this works. Let's see if it needs anything. Delicious. I am going to add a little black pepper in there. It absolutely has virtually no heat. Excuse me. And that's another thing. If you find that it doesn't have any heat and you want to add a little heat to it, by all means add some hot pepper sauce, add another jalapeno in there. Hey, if you're really bold, you can even add a habanero and see how that works out for you. But be careful, because if you're cooking for a crowd, you'd rather leave it on the mild side, and you can always add the habanero on the side and tell them to add it. And that's it. It's a beautiful, very colorful, delicious side to any kind of meal you're having for a crowd. Let's just taste this again, make sure I have enough pepper. Delicious. It's perfect. Until then. Oh, and don't forget, like us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, and check out Apex Nova website, and follow us on that Facebook page too. Until then, catch you later. Bye.